Ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube world, what's poppin', lockin', what's droppin', baby? Welcome back to the channel, to the series, and most specifically, to this video. Now, today, a little weird different. So, we're actually going to be going over the grocery haul and what I eat throughout the week. Mainly because my video last time, I did my weigh in and so forth with my February update. So we're going to combine the two, grocery haul and what I eat in a day here. Now, typically this would be the more ideal thing to do, but I like combining my grocery haul and my weigh-in video because the weigh-in video is typically really short. Same with the grocery haul, so I figure I'm like combining the two together. And what I eat in the day is typically pretty short too. I'll just throw all three together. But for this case, we're going to be combining the grocery haul and what I eat in a day throughout the week in this video. So let's go ahead and go over what my OMAD video would be. So unfortunately, I have injured myself today. I ended up getting a mild groin injury, or sorry, not a groin, it's a mild quad strain on my leg. I was doing sprints and on my way back from one of my stretches, not my stretching, but my running, I forgot what the term's called, but something tore really bad in my legs, and it still hurts from that too. So just basically what I talked to my virtual doctor that I guess then my insurance does, plus things that I looked up, seems like it's a mild strain. So it said it takes about 5 to 10 days to recover. And the quickest way to have things recover is obviously intake food. So a couple things I will mention here that's supposed to be in my OMAD, but ended up doing OMAD today, is Nick's triple brownie ice cream, I think it was called. Stuff's really good, low in calorie, decent in protein, super high in fiber. I didn't realize how much fiber was in that ice cream. And then I had a bowl of strawberries from Publix. But the thing that I'm going to be having for dinner tonight, I'm able to show you guys. First of all, we have these chicken sausages, sorry. My mind's all over the place right now. So these are kind of cool. They're like the Italian chicken sausages, but with kale inside. So a little bit of the nice little fiber and whatever. So that leafy, dark leafy green veggies. It's really going to help us out when we go more towards our fixated diet and our workout routine, because we need to really focus on those bright, colorful vegetables for those pigments, so we can target that visual fat. Next, I have 6 things of large eggs here, just typical whatever eggs. So I'm going to be eating the yolks with these two. So each egg is 70 calories, so 7 times 6 is 420, and 6 grams of protein, so it's 42 grams of protein for these as well. Sorry, no, it's 6 grams of protein, 6 times 6 is 36 grams of protein. Sorry. So if you get the medium eggs, it'd be 60 for 60. So it'll actually pass the protein test. Next we got here is a relatively large zucchini. This is going to be my vegetable of choice as well. Zucchini is always my go-to for vegetables. Super good at fiber, super delicious, and really easy to cook. So zucchini for my veggie. And then last but not least, we do have a packet of the Ben's Original Rice already. This is the roasted chicken blend flavoring. So it's 400 calories per pouch with 8 grams of protein. Not too shabby for rice. Super easy, just throw it in the microwave for 90 seconds. Obviously, separate the grains because they will stick to each other in the packaging, but this is a pretty good one. You put a little sauce on top of it because a lot of times this pre-cooked microwave stuff can be kind of weird tasting. And I'll post a picture of what it looks like here, but that is it for my OMAD meal. So we can go ahead and go over what my meal 1 consists of. All right, so for meal 1, this is a pretty common meal. I think I've posted this meal on here 4 different times, but it's so ergonomically easy to do, and it's super convenient. Gets you all the protein you could take in, and so forth, so on. So, return of the Butterballs turkey sausages. That's right. We got 6 links per day, so that's 110 calories for 11 grams of protein. So for 3 links, so we got 220 with 22 grams of protein, just in this guy right here. Next, we have a large count of, or an 18 count of large eggs. There we go. Be hard boiling these. We're going to be doing 3 eggs, so 70 with 6 grams of protein. We're only going to be eating the yolks from one of them, and then the 2 of them, we're going to eat just the whites. So the egg whites is like 17 calories with 5 grams of protein, or 6 grams of protein, sorry. Actually, I think there's a gram of protein in the yolk. So 5 grams of protein in the egg whites. So, and last but not least, I've actually found these kind of interesting. So half of my, or 3/4 of my list is from Amazon, and then the remaining quarter was from Publix. But I have these. They're the WIEIAD brand. These are just breakfast drinks, essentially. But there's coconut, almond, chocolate banana, maple pecan, and cinnamon horchata. It just said cinnamon on Amazon, so I don't really know what horchata is. But these guys are kind of interesting. So they're all 190 calories with 18 grams of protein and 7 grams of fiber. So I think it's just an overall drink. It's really close for passing the protein test, so I think these will suffice just as good. But typically I would go with the Greek yogurt drinks or just Greek yogurt in general, but I figure I mix it up with those drinks. So I think they're more meal drinks than anything, but we'll see. I'm actually kind of excited to see how they taste. So let's go over meal 2. All right, ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube world. Wow, I cannot speak today. So we're gonna go over meal 2. Now meal 2 is gonna be quite interesting because we've actually made this before, and it was probably one of my best things I've ever made. It was kind of surprising how well these came out. So for our protein source, we have these chicken chorizo sausages. I absolutely love chorizo. So I have 3 cases of these, so 2 sausages per meal. So it's 180 calories with 16 grams of protein. Not terrible, but again, sausage typically has some fat in it. Like this one has about 12 grams of fat. So when you do sausages, just be warned that you do have some fat in it. But chorizo, I love chorizo. The next thing, got a potato. Specifically, we have 6 potatoes, but we're gonna be making anabolic twice baked potatoes. So if you guys remember from my cowboy potato recipe, we're essentially gonna be doing that, but without the ground beef topping. So we have 6 potatoes. So we're gonna have 2 servings for our dinner. So let me, I guess, show you the consistencies or what's in these potatoes. For our bacon bits, we have turkey sausage here. Butterball is the okay brand. A lot of turkey bacon actually isn't past the protein test, which is actually kind of surprising. It's 30 calories per strip with 2 grams of protein, which is still a good amount. But the problem is there's a lot of other proteins with better protein test passing. So turkey bacon is quite interesting. It kind of shocked me, but they require bacon bits, so this is probably the best route we can take for bacon bits. Next, we have an entire tub of plain non-fat Greek yogurt, 100 calories per serving with 17 grams of protein. Pretty good. Now for our cheeses, we actually went with mozzarella and cheddar, both fat-free. Same exact macros, so 45 calories per serving with 9 grams of protein. Absolutely crazy for fat-free cheese. It actually doubles, which is nuts, but 2 packets of these, or 1 pack each, I should say. And the last time I used green onions, but this time we're going to be using chives. Just not a huge difference to them. Chives are more grassy tasting than green onions are more, a little bit of an onion taste to them. But chives typically go really good with twice baked potatoes. And then for our vegetable choice, we're going back with the green beans. I did green beans on my last video, so green beans are this one as well. My favorite are French cut style, but this is a super easy just vegetable that throw in the microwave, throw some seasoning on it, drain all the water off, of course, and then you can munch on these for your vegetables. So that's pretty much it. So we're actually gonna prep the loaded baked potatoes tonight, and I'll show you guys how to do that. Again, I have the same exact video when I made my cowboy potatoes, but I don't mind making it again for just the overall general twice baked potato. But now we'll get into the dessert. Lastly, ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube world, oh my God, why can't I say that? Lastly, ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube world, we're gonna be going over dessert. Now, dessert's gonna be quite interesting. So back before when I was, I guess, diagnosed with gluten intolerant, the only reason, well, I shouldn't do this. I was literally diagnosed with gluten intolerant. Jeez, there we go. I went to the doctor. You're not allergic to gluten, right? I was like, cool. So, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches were absolutely my favorite. I love peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Peanut butter and jelly sandwiches has its good sides and its bad sides. It's not great in protein because the only protein source you're really getting is the peanut butter, unless you get keto bread. But unless I can't have keto bread because keto bread's made out of wheat. But we're going to incorporate a couple things in here to make it quite interesting. First thing we got here are rice cakes. Now, I am actually not a huge fan of rice cakes, but I'm thinking we're going to make open-faced sandwiches. So we're going to use the rice cakes as the bed. And so we'll make like peanut butter and jelly burratas. I'll figure out the name later on. But these are caramel, by the way, rice cakes. So the 50 calories, less than 1 gram of protein. But rice cakes are really good just for being low in calorie in general. And also pretty good for getting a nice little carb source in you, because they got 11 grams of carbs in it too. So now next, I went over this before, but PB Fit is the best peanut butter you can buy for your macros. Now, you can buy peanut butter flavored protein powder, but this is one ingredient only, and it's just roasted peanuts. It's got a little bit of coconut sugar and salt in it, but if you're looking for like whole food, this is pretty much your go-to. It's just dehydrated, grated peanuts without the oil in it. So this is cool, 60 calories with 7 grams of protein, so it even passes the protein test too. PB Fit. All you gotta do is just add a little liquid to it, and then you get creamy peanut butter. Speaking of adding liquid, typically you add water to it, but we're actually gonna increase our protein with this. It's called Ripple. Usually I would use Fairlife fat-free milk, but unfortunately Amazon didn't have this, so we're using pea milk instead. So it's got 80 calories with 8 grams of protein, so it passes the protein test. Oh, I thought it had a little bit of fiber in it, but it's got some really good calcium and so forth in it, so we're gonna use this instead. And then the ingredients kind of has a lot, but it's just pea protein powder essentially. And then for our jam, we have the Smucker's fat-free raspberry jelly. So I am not a huge fan of grape jelly, so I typically like the raspberry or blackberry jam. So this is what we got for our PB&Js. And the last but not least, to top off our burrata, we have the Catalan Crunch. This is the best cereal you can get, by the way. This is chocolate, so 150 calories, because I'm looking along with the milk, and then with 11 grams of protein, but it's also got 6 grams of fiber in it. So this is probably the best overall cereal you can buy. Macros, and then for taste as well. So I've had the blueberry muffin one, it was phenomenal. The fruit one tastes exactly like Trick cereal, so I'm excited to see what the chocolate one tastes like. And then some other things too. I did buy a 12 pack of the Zero Sugar Baja Blast, as well as some water bottles, as just more of the miscellaneous stuff for that. So, but ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube world, that is it for the grocery haul for this week. Now, I say let's go over and make us some twice baked loaded potatoes. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and make ourselves some loaded twice baked potatoes, anabolic style. So you guys watched my cowboy potato video before, literally the same exact steps. The only difference is we're adding 2 different kinds of cheeses and we're doubling up on the servings. So you get your potato, put it on the cutting board like this, and you get yourself a pan with some parchment paper. I like parchment paper because it's easy to remove. And a little bit trick when you rip the parchment paper out, because it's rolled up typically, if you flip it over, it'll be a lot easier to place down, so you can place everything down on there. So, but essentially, all we're gonna be doing is find your center point of your potato, just cut it in half like this, and then set it on here like so. So I'll go ahead and just do the rest of them just because it's like really easy to do. The problem with potatoes though is a lot of times you get some uneven ones like this. So try your best to cut down the middle. If not, then you'll have some kind of odd boats, but it'll still work. Honestly, this might be the exact number of potatoes that we need. Oh, maybe not. We may not have room. Oh no. Oh no, we're good. All right, perfection. So we got 6 potatoes here, by the way. So we're gonna make, and 1 serving is 1/2 a potato, or 1 boat, I should say. So just enough room. Look at that. Absolute perfection. We're gonna take some avocado oil spray, and we're just gonna give a light coating right on top. What is this gonna do is it's gonna help roast the potatoes on top, as well as have our seasoning stick. For our seasoning choice, I have the Kinder's The Blend, salt, pepper, and garlic powder, or this is probably minced garlic, but And we're just gonna give this a nice coating right on top, like so. Season your potatoes like crazy. And again, you can always add more seasoning once we mix everything together. And now let's go ahead and prep these guys to go into the oven. So super simple. We have our oven preheated to 400 degrees. I usually pick the number 375, but for these, 400 is grand. Now we do have double the potatoes, so it's gonna take a little bit longer in the oven. So, but we're gonna go ahead and put these guys in before they fall all over me. And we're gonna let these bake for an hour to an hour 15. These will take quite some time to bake, so keep that in mind when you're making these. So, but we'll be back once the potatoes are done. Ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube world, we are completely finished baking our potatoes for the first time. As you can see, this is about what we want. The seasoning kind of flaking and the crust being a little, crust around. So I did turn the oven off, but we will have to put it back on. But this guy reheats really easily, so I'm not too worried about it. But if you have an electric oven, I would recommend just keeping the heat on 450 degrees because we're going to have to bake these again. So we're going to go let these cool off for a little bit because we're going to have to hold these. And for our next steps, we're going to have to let these cool off a bit. So be back with the next steps. Ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube world, let's go ahead and prepare our loaded potato mixture. So if your potatoes are hot enough, or cool enough, sorry, then what I recommend doing is having a glove while you do this. But essentially what you're doing is you're taking your potato, taking a spoon, and you're going to scrape the insides onto your bowl. Make sure to not cut into the boat though when you do this. So yeah, and that's pretty much it for this portion. So you just scoop your potato innards into your bowl, and if they're cooked enough, it'll be a lot easier, but this one did not do justice. So we'll come back when all these are scraped off. Also, this potato is very thin, so we'll scrape all these off, results, and what the boats look like, and then we'll be back when that's done. So we have our bowl of potato innards, as we like to call them. So next thing we're gonna do is actually add our protein, if I can find the right tool. We have our turkey bacon bits. I pre-cooked them already. Let's go ahead and throw them in there. We have our tub of Greek yogurt. This is 32 ounces. We're going to use the entirety of the 32 ounces. Plain, non-fat, by the way. Actually, pretty much all of it came out. All right, so cool. Our freshly chopped chives. We're going to go ahead and toss those in there. Like so. Our seasoned grass, I like to call it. And then we're going to add a little bit more of this Kinder's, the blend what we topped our potatoes off with earlier. We're going to add a little bit of dried parsley to this as well. And you're going to take yourself a spatula or a mixing utensil, and we're just going to, oh, you know what? I forgot one thing. Got our fat-free mozzarella cheese, fat-free cheddar cheese. Forgot to add these guys in. That would suck. I forgot them. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take our spatula and we're going to fold everything together. This being the cheese, chives, potato mixture, the whole shenanigans. We're going to take everything and we're going to mix it all together. So I'm going to get this guy all mixed up and I'll come back with the next steps. This is what our mixture looks like. It is really heavy. So we're going to take our boats. I'm going to get this one's probably the best one, looking one, honestly. And then all we're going to do is take our mixture and we're going to pack it in there like so. So I kind of like flattening it out and then kind of overloading. But we're going to kind of smooth this guy out too as we overload the potato mixture. Like so. So you kind of pack it in like this a little bit. And your result should look like this. Ha ha ha. So we're gonna go ahead and put that guy down. And we're gonna go ahead and do the rest of this mixture. I'll come back when it's all done. So we have all of our potatoes loaded up here, as you can see. And hopefully you kept your oven on 400 because we're gonna be baking these guys again. So we're gonna put them back in. Oh yeah. And then we're gonna bake them at 400 for another 30 to 35 minutes. Basically, all you wanna do is make sure that your potatoes are kind of crisp on the top. That's ideally what we want. So I'll be back once these guys are all cooked up. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are done with the twice baked potatoes. Oh yeah, baby. If I can get this thing out of here. This is what we have created, and it looks absolutely marvelous. So here, and yeah, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna let this guy cool down a bit, and then I'm gonna show you how I store these. Okay, so essentially how I wrap these, or store them, is I take a little aluminum foil sheet. I have these pre-cut sheets, which are like really nice, by the way. So you just take your potato and you take your corners and just kind of wrap it up like this. And the last one you can wrap pretty much over it and just kind of compact it. And then you have your stored loaded baked potato. And then you can do is you can take this, throw it in the air fryer for like 375 to 390 for about 15 to 17 minutes. Just make sure everything's fully cooked in there. And you basically have your loaded baked potatoes ready for whatever kind of meal you guys want to desire on. So we'll go over making dessert, and then of course we'll have the video of trying everything. So catch you guys then. Ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube world, I think it's time for dessert. So for dessert, this is a recipe that I just made because it's more of a nostalgia thing for me. This is something I absolutely loved eating back when I wasn't gluten intolerant. Now, since I am gluten intolerant, I need to make it this way. So we're gonna get a couple things out here, and I'll kind of show and explain everything here in a second. So we are gonna be making peanut butter and jelly bruschetta, except low calorie. So first thing we got is PB Fit. PB Fit is fantastic because not only is it low in calories and also peanut butter, so it's almost like a win-win there. And essentially what you do is you have 1 serving of peanut butter powder, which is 2 tablespoons. And then you just slowly add in your liquid. Now for this liquid, I have Ripple. This is like a pea flour or pea powder, what do you call it? Liquid. So the instructions on the PB Fit is you have to add liquid and then stir it around. And then what it does is that powder will get absorbed by the liquid, and then it'll create your peanut butter. So, but for peanut butter, we want it a little bit runnier. So a serving of this is 1 cup of Ripple. So essentially, we are not using a cup for this whatsoever. But if you want truly low calorie, water works perfectly fine. But what we want to do is we want to make this pretty thin. And I'll show why here in a minute. So, but like I said, that right there might have been a teaspoon, maybe 2 teaspoons of liquid. It does not take that much to create your peanut butter. You do not want to overuse the liquid or else you get a soup, except for peanut butter. Now if you use too much, of course you can add more peanut butter powder in there, but once you taste it, it should taste exactly like peanut butter, which is exactly what we want. Because the only ingredients in here are coconut sugar, peanuts, and salt. But like I said, the Ripple, we used maybe 2 teaspoons. But you just gotta follow the instructions on the back of your container to make your delicious peanut butter. So now I have rice cakes. I'm not a big fan of rice cakes, but when I made it with this, it actually came out really, really good. So, and by the way, I make 2 of these. So when I put the macros on, it's 2 peanut butter bruschettas per recipe. So you take your rice cake and you essentially just dip right into the peanut butter, stir it around a little bit, and then remove it. You can kind of give it a double coating. I try not to get too much around the edges because you'd have to hold it to eat it, obviously. So we got that. And then, once you get your spoon uncleaned off, you have some sugar-free red raspberry jelly. I'm not a big fan of grape. Use whatever flavor you want. Just make sure it's sugar-free for your lowest calorie needs. So, a serving is a tablespoon. So, we're just going to do 1 serving here. And then I just kind of compress it and kind of mix it around like this. So, we got our base for peanut butter jelly bruschetta. Now, we can stop here, but why not keep going by adding some Catalina Crunch dark chocolate cereal just for our fiberistic needs. Now, I will admit, you kind of need a lot of these to, you know, put on your fibers needs, because a serving of this is a half a cup. That's like a quarter cup. So, I could weigh everything to get exact measurements, but I've made this before. So, for this video, I'm kind of guesstimating, but yeah. But, so I usually make 2 of these because one of them is just so low in calories. I'm talking like, I think under 100 calories, because the whole rice cake itself is 50. Plus, we're using a quarter of the peanut butter. And then a tablespoon of this is 10 calories. This may be like 50, maybe. And then the milk, we're looking at like 20 calories. So, but yeah, so that's essentially it. And now you got yourselves a nice, healthy dessert that's gonna make you feel good at the end of eating it.
Ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube world, what is poppin', lockin', and what's droppin'? Welcome to the eating portion of this video, because we had the grocery haul beforehand. We're gonna go over basically what I eat throughout the day, and of course I'll put the macros after each single meal, and then right after we will go over in grand total the macros for everything. Stay tuned, and I'll catch you guys at the very end.
Alright everyone, first meal of the day. Something very, very exciting for me, but I have been eating for the past long time. 3 hard-boiled eggs. I only eat the yolks for one of them, and then the other 2 I just eat the egg whites. Then I have 6 Butterball turkey sausage links. Pretty good in calories, very good in protein. And finally, I have this. Koi, looks like plant-based meal shakes. This is maple pecan flavor. I have coconut almond, chocolate banana, as well as a cinnamon flavor too. I've had these before, they're okay. I had them in the beginning of the week, so. But this flavor I was excited for the most because I love pecan flavor stuff. Again, it's okay. For the price for these, I wouldn't buy these unless you're like vegan or something, so. But chow this down, I'll see you guys for meal 2. Ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube world, we have completely finished with the potato recipe, and I'm accompanying it with my dinner, which we have here, which is our twice baked potatoes with some chicken chorizo and a can full of green beans. So to top these potatoes off, by the way, you can use a really good barbecue sauce. For my recommendation, Taste Flavor Co.'s cherry barbecue sauce goes really good with this, but I'm gonna put that on a little bit after. Actually, you know what? Well, I'm gonna cut all this up. I'll put it on afterwards. And then some Zero Sugar Baja Blast by Mountain Dew. Always a good option for your low-calorie soda needs. Let's go ahead and try ourselves a loaded baked potato. So we have our first bite here. Potato, cheese, chives, a little bit of bacon, turkey bacon specifically. All deliciousness. Let's go ahead and give ourselves a bite. That is really good. You get a little bit of sourness from the Greek yogurt, creaminess from the potatoes, cheesiness from the low-fat cheese, a little bit of that smokiness from the bacon, and a little earthiness from the seasonings and from the chives themselves. If you have some Taste Flavor Co. cherry barbecue sauce, out of this world. Just to prove to you, I have it right here. Let's go ourselves. Give ourselves a quick little bite. Low calorie. Very delicious as well. It pairs really well. If you guys use my cowboy potatoes recipe, you know this goes really good. Chicken chorizo. A little spicy. Pretty good. Then French style cut green beans with some salt, pepper, and garlic. Seasoned, of course. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and devour this because I just finished a pretty killer ab workout, and I'll give you guys what the macros. Catch you guys then. But why stop there? Well, we can go ahead and try it. So we got our bruschetta here. Oh yeah. If you love peanut butter jelly, this is the way to go. You will not regret eating this whatsoever. It's got a handful of fiber in there. It's got a little bit of protein. And for a dessert, especially peanut butter jelly, it's pretty low in calories too. So, I'm gonna go ahead and finish this guy, and then I'll show the macros, and then we'll get to the end of the day of what I eat and the macros throughout the rest of the day. Catch you guys then.
Ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube world, welcome to the very end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed what I eat throughout the day as well as the grocery haul. So now we're going to go over the overall general macros for this week, or more for every day, what's going to be for the rest of this week. So for calories, we are sitting at 1,789 calories. For protein, we got 152 grams of protein. For carbohydrates, we have 144, and for fats, we have 70. For our fiber, we have 30 grams of fiber, 27 grams of sugar, and 4,900 milligrams of sodium that we have consumed as well. So there are some downsides. The protein, again, we're still not very high in the protein. So I'm thinking next week we're really going to have to focus on our protein intake because we only got to the 150 mark. So, but most of my workouts also include some protein-esque items. So a lot of times I go to Sheets, I'll get some venison sticks or even protein shakes. So our protein will go up a little bit as we do our major workouts, not like the couple that I did this week, which you guys will see at the end of this week. So but definitely for next week, we're going to have to start looking and shaking our protein a little bit more. We did go over our carbs, which is pretty nice, and we're relatively low calories. So although I think we are a little too low in our calories for what we're trying to shoot for, so I think next week we're going to try to shoot it up to maybe around 1900s, mainly because on our major workouts, I do consume a little bit more because we need that a little bit more protein intake. So that's majority of the reason why my meals typically throughout the week are around the 1800. But I kind of want to bundle up to the 1900. So we're definitely going to be looking into that next week. But that is it, ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube world. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for accompanying me on this journey. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share, especially with the ones who are willing and wanting to start their fitness journey. Make sure to like anything positive or negative. We're on the internet, so we got to learn to take it. But ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube world, thank you so much once again from the bottom of my heart for taking your time to check out the journey. Stay disciplined, stay focused. I'll catch you guys on whatever level next. Peace.